Welcome back to Parents Corner. Today we are continuing on with our study of the Beatitudes, and we are looking at Matthew chapter 5, verse 6, which is Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. You know, the way Jesus preaches this line is so smart because it plays on our base instinct of feeling or feeding our hunger and quenching our thirst. I mean, I know everyone has felt hunger at some point in their lives, and we all know what it's like to feel that physical pain. I mean, for me, it's very painful that goes along with being hungry or being thirsty. I mean, I even know that for myself and for my children, it brings about a complete change in the way that we behave. Hunger physically affects us. So when we hear this line, we have a physical response to it. We connect to this idea in a way that we wouldn't if Jesus had used different language here. And at first it may seem like our kids aren't going to make these same connections because righteousness is such a difficult word to really encompass and even explain to kids. I mean, there are days that we may not fully understand what righteousness means. But this is one of the places where kids kind of have a leg up on us because they have this built in understanding of this word, even if they don't fully recognize that they know what the word righteous means. And for our kids, it's best compared to the idea of fairness. How many times have we heard our kids say, but that's not fair? At least my kids are saying that all the time, and I'm really hoping it's not just my kids who think that my rules are unfair. I'm hoping that there are other parents who have experienced this as well. Now, usually when kids are talking about fairness, they're very focused on the self. They're focused on what's fair for them. But this opens a door and gives us a great opportunity to turn it around and help them understand fairness for others too, which is exactly what Jesus is talking about here when he talks about righteousness. Part of living in a close relationship with God is that we're doing justice for everyone, everywhere. Not just for people in the U.S., not just for people who think like us, but for everyone, all over the world. Now, for kids, that's a big ask. I mean, let's be fair. That's a big ask for adults, too, if we're being honest, right? I mean, there are days I know that I can barely keep up with justice in our own community, let alone the state of Nebraska or the country or even the world. And that's daunting. I'm sitting here thinking about it and I'm exhausted because it's so overwhelming. So our task with our kids isn't to dump the world's problems onto their shoulders. Nobody can handle that. That's too much to ask for anyone, regardless of their age. But what we can do is teach them to turn their sense of fairness outward, even if it's just aimed at those immediately surrounding them. For a lot of our kids, that's as simple as looking at fairness in regards to the politics at school, which I know is actually not a simple idea at all because school politics is insane. But the idea is to help our kids see how justice and righteousness come into play into their daily situations. And for a lot of our kids, that means at school. And help them understand how they can bring about justice and righteousness through their behavior. Now, it's not going to be easy. It's never easy. But that's why it's important to have support from us as parents. And they're going to make mistakes. Heck, I still make mistakes. I mean, when I interact with people, social awkwardness all over the place. I make a ton of mistakes. So we can't, and should not expect perfection from our kids. We can help them. Now, this might take some prying on our part as they kind of shut us off behind that wall of silence. I got a 10-year-old who's starting to do that. And I know that I've heard that that's just a drop in the bucket compared to how it's going to get as he gets older. It's just going to become more and more fine, okay. But we can continue to very gently work ourselves into their lives ask them questions, take an interest, and help shape their worldview so that they learn to show mercy and work for justice. It won't be easy for them, and it won't be easy for us, but it is absolutely worth it.